Alright you lot, stop pressers. Battlefield just embarrassed Call of Duty without lifting a finger. Ah, really? Backend fixers that actually fix stuff, devs calling out their old bosses like it's family court, XP farmers getting the servers bricked, Cronus cheaters being hunted like rats in a kebab shop, and Zampella? Zampella just dropped a quartz so savage it gave Call of Duty a nosebleed. This is Gaming Hellwire, Battlefield 6 special, and for once, we're not pissing on ashes, we're lighting fireworks. So here's how you know Battlefield 6 is finally getting its shit together. The drop to back-end patch that actually made game better, and didn't feel need to tweak 15 graphics with words like engagement or player first philosophy. No roadmap bullshit, no fake transparency, just cold surgical fixes. Rush mode finally gets its full 100 tickets on maps that were capped at 75 like they were rationing fun. Whoop-de-bloody-do, right? Except, it's thing. It's kind of fixed you only notice when you've been playing, actually playing, and going, why the hell does this feel like it ends just when it gets going? And now, sorted. Quietly, properly, no PR fluff sandwich. Then we've got sniper rifles getting nerfed. M2010 dropped from 900 to 800 ms. PSR down to 720, which means long-range spam gods will now have to actually aim instead of treating every map like a bloody railgun simulator. Beautiful. Could even be enough to scare a few TikTok trick shotters back to Warzone where time to kill is 2 frames and a dream. And pierce the resistance? Shotguns now take projectile drag into account. Yeah, we're now in an FPS where pellets obey laws of physics again. We've come full circle, from hit scam magic wands to somewhat resembling ballistic reality. Shotgun mains will cry, resters will laugh. Balance wins. So now your camping uncle can't turn every round into Saving Private Ryan with one tap from spawn. But here's what matters. These changes aren't new content. The course correction. That quiet moment when dev team goes, right lads, let's fix our mess before we add another. It's smallest win on paper and biggest one in practice. Battlefield 6 ain't chasing headlines. It's chasing consistency. And for a series that spent last decade tripping over its own menu screens, that's a bloody miracle. Now let's talk about something that shouldn't be news. Your character actually being able to jump properly. And yet here we are, celebrating like someone found Holy Grail behind a vault animation. DICE just fixed a bug that's been haunting Battlefield movement like a sweaty ghost since launch. Jump momentum glitch. That wonderful moment where you go to vault over a crate, but your momentum gets snatched away mid-air like you're trying to bunny hop in treacle. 1 minute you're flying high, next you're humping edge of a sandbag like you're with money. Turns out, it were weapon specific. Certain guns would randomly kill your jump momentum. Cause realism, right? Oh sorry soldier, that DMR's too heavy. Best you do a limp part hop instead of a proper vault. Well, not anymore. Now you can jump with your dignity intact, regardless of what boomstick you've got strapped to your spine. And this, dear viewer, is why it matters. It shows DICE ain't just tuning weapon stats or fixing broken skins. They're going under HUDs, looking at feel. Cause movement in Battlefield ain't just about speed, it's about flow. That dance between vaults, dives, slides and chaos. Kilt momentum, kilt fun. Simple. So this isn't just a bug fix, it's a sign. A signal flare fired at night saying, oi, we're listening, and we've stopped huffing frostbite fumes long enough to fix basic movement. Is it flashy? Nah. Will streamers cry about it? Probably not. But to average player, one who's been stuck behind cover like a pensioner with arthritis, this is huge. Little things are adding up. Battlefield 6 is feeling tighter, cleaner, more deliberate. Less like a beta test and more like a shooter built by people who actually played their own game. Mad, innit? But let's talk about how Battlefield 6's players grinding so hard for XP, it makes Elden Ring look like a mobile game with skip button. And what happens when game progression is so slow, inconsistent and vaguely sadistic? Players get creative. Enter Portal XP farms, private servers, custom rules, bots lined up like firing squad meta traffic cones. Jump in, spam kills, rack up XP, unlock gear faster than devs can say intended experience. But here's where it gets fun. EA noticed. Not cause of community reports. Nah, cause servers started breaking. People couldn't load into matches. Error messages like global game quota exceeded started popping up. Which is a fancy way of saying Too many of you are a gaming system. Sod off. And in true EA fashion, they've not issued a real statement, no press release, just quiet panic. Servers bricked, portal instances nuked, and devs probably crying into coffee wondering why progression system they built is being bypassed like a toll booth in GTA. Now let's be fair, the fact they're reacting at all is progress. In old days they'd have monetized XP farm and sold it as a season pass perk. But here, they're pulling plugs, scrambling to find balance. And here's real kicker, players doing this aren't just trolls, they're sending a message. Fix your grind. Grind's so broken even masochists tapped out and built kill farms. That's not meta, that's a bloody hostage situation. But again, there's a silver lining. EA's not ignoring it. They're tweaking behind curtain, and that shows they know this system needs work. The community will not tolerate another grind fest disguised as player retention. So while this might look like chaos, it's a good kind where players push and devs actually flinch. And that in 2025 is practically a miracle. Nah, strap in, cause Vince Zampella just set industry on fire using naught but a quote and 20 years of pent-up spite. Only reason Call of Duty exists is cause EA were dicks. That's not a throwaway line, that's a confession from God. Man behind Medal of Honor, founder of Infinity Ward, creator of Call of Duty, brain behind Titanfall, and bloke now steering Battlefield 6, just publicly pissed on EA's past and somehow made you cheer while doing it. Let's run history for kids at back. EA had him, Zampella, building Medal of Honor, redefining genre. Then they pushed him out, threw his team under tank and watched as he left. Formed Infinity Ward, and birthed Call of Duty, same franchise that's been uppercutting Battlefield for over a decade. And now he's back, in charge of Battlefield. On record, calling EA's past management what we all knew they were, dicks. That's not just spicy, that's nuclear. That's your ex getting dumped by the person that cheated on you with, then pulling up in the driveway driving the car to pick up her sister. Zampella didn't just return, he returned in charge. Suddenly Battlefield 6 feels like Battlefield again. Why? Cause man behind formula is finally in room, flicking lights back on. And let's not ignore nostalgia bait, BF3, BF4 vibes, Bad Company grid, ads loaded with Limp Bizkit era sarcasm. Battlefield 6 ain't just gameplay, it's Zampella pouring DNA of 2 decades of shooter warfare into a syringe and jabbing it right into dev team's neck. Call of Duty's out here fumbling another beta, pretending its anti-cheat works, while Battlefield's godfather is out here making war shooters fun again. And it all started cause EA couldn't stop being, in his words, not mine, dicks. He didn't just say it, he weaponized truth. That quote should come with a shell-shock warning. Poetic. And this one's not just a win, it's a bloody exorcism. Battlefield 6 has done it. Not only did it launch with an anti-cheat system that works, but it's already doing what Call of Duty couldn't manage in 4 fucking years. Let's talk about Cronus 10. That cheeky little USB device that lets little Timmy on console suddenly start snapping to heads like he's possessed by Shroud's ghost. You plug it in, load up your script, and boom. Extra aim assist, no recoil, cracked movement, and 0 talent required. For years this thing's been cheat that didn't count as cheating, cause anti-cheat systems just looked other way, especially if you were on controller, especially if you had a verified Twitch account. But not anymore. Battlefield 6 has Javelin, and Javelin don't give a toss how much you paid for your cheat stick. It sees it, it flags it, and it ends you. Just days after launch, Cronus users are crying all over Discord. Ban screens, lockouts, confused little gremlins asking why their aim went limp and their account stopped loading. And it gets better, we've got screenshots, accounts suspended. Even Cronus devs are throwing out panic flares like, don't use it in Battlefield 6 right now, we're working on a fix. Yeah, you work on that. Battlefield team will be working on banning you again right after. Meanwhile, over on Call of Duty land, Ricochet's still trying to figure out what Cronus is. This is a system they bragged about, made trailers for, held bloody PR conference over, and in 4 years it's managed to ban maybe 3 people and a toaster. Black Ops 7 couldn't even get through its beta without cheaters. Full axe, wall axe, aimbots, god mode, and Activision's out here pretending Secure Boot its second coming of Punk Buster, when all it really is Battlefield's Javelin copied and slapped in late cause they got embarrassed. It's true, Ricochet were never an anti-cheat. It were anti-bad press. A PR tool to pretend like they gave a toss. Meanwhile, actual cheat creators got so confident they started running their own influencer programs. Some of the biggest streamers out there caught, shadow banned, then miraculously unbanned. You know how it goes. Oops, it were a false flag. No, it bloody wasn't. It were a phone call. It were Activision protecting cash cows. But Battlefield 6, no one's safe. You cheat, you're out. Cronus user, soft aim, script spammer, don't matter. Javelin don't care who you are or how big your following is. And that's what makes players flock back. It's earned trust. Not bought, not bribed, not glossed up with corporate doublespeak. It's ban-waving end of cheating. But it is first proper counterpunch in years. It's Battlefield standing up and saying, nah, not here, not anymore. And reaction? Beautiful. Here's cheering, forums lighting up, COD fans jealous. When what last time you saw that? When what last time Call of Duty players looked over at fence and said, bloody hell, I wish we had that. And you know what? They should be jealous. Because for once, Battlefield's doing what COD used to do best. Set standard. This ain't just about cheaters. This is about pride. And for the first time in years, Battlefield players have some. To raise a glass, fire a rocket, teabag a script kiddie. This ain't just a patch note. It's a fucking moment. So there you have it. 5 straight wins for Battlefield 6. Not a single NFT, Battle Pass bribe, or influencer ass-kiss inside. Game's tighter, movements fixed, cheaters are burning, and devs actually look like the gear toss. Zampella lit fuse, Javelin dropped hammer, and for once, Battlefield feels like a game made by players, not spreadsheet parasites. Like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Drop your comments and questions below with your Battlefield W or COD L at week. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.